Hey, Gabriel Blake,
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
where are we today?
I am still in my apartment. I haven't left since the last time we podcasted days ago.
Actually, now that you mention it, like, yeah, I didn't leave my place either, but I did actually take a shower.
Ah, look at you.
More than one, now that I think about it.
I washed my hair twice since I've spoken to you. I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with your hair. It's so luxurious.
The man bun is in
Yeah, I can see that,
good
yeah.
form today. But I
Yep.
did. My barber text messaged me, and he's accepting appointments for a month and a half in the future when we're allowed to open. So I've got that to look forward to, a haircut.
I think, yeah, that's the funny thing is that right now we get excited about like just booking a barber appointment. And we actually, when you think about like what is the most exciting thing that it happened, is like it's actually like very stupid small stuff.
I mean, it's still better than another day stuck in my apartment all day, but
No,
whatever. I'm
I mean
not
for
sick, so.
yeah, good for you. For me, my most exciting thing was actually just having to fight for 10 minutes a giant wasp.
Was there one of those new ones that are taking over America?
No, I don't
Another
think they,
damn African.
of course, that's the only thing that they bring to this country. No, I don't know, sadly. I think there was like just a regular wasp, but it was probably like the largest one that I ever seen. They were doing some construction work next door, and when I heard it flying, I thought that it was a power tool that they were using outside. And when I was like getting close to the window just to check it out, is when I saw it like just fighting against the glass for it coming out. It's like, holy shit, it was like just a feet away from me. And it's like, no, I'm not getting close to that.
Oh, wasps are sons of bitches, man.
Yeah. So we were like just grabbing a broom and just for 10 minutes, I just encourage it to just go away. And every
Did
single
you
time I was
cover it with a
flying,
towel and then take a stool and hit it over and over?
no spoilers, no spoilers, but I thought about it. I thought about doing something like that. Okay, so what's the movie of this week that we watched?
This was your pick, correct? No, or was it
No, it
mine?
was your pick.
It was my pick, and it was a good one. It is the 1977 horror Dario Argento classic Suspiria. Not to be
Hmm.
confused with the Tilda Swinton version.
Because he actually plays three different roles on that movie, so it could actually be her movie. So
Mm-hmm.
why did you pick that movie? Why did you pick Suspiria?
Um, I don't remember. We were just ending our last podcast, right? And you're like, "What are we watching next?" And I was, "Oh no," because it had been on the list forever. So
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoyed the. I can't pronounce his actual name, Luca's version. I thought it
What
was
a
a
yeah,
Guadagnino or something like that.
yeah, what a know.
I thought it was a very good film, and for him to move from
Call Me by
what
Your
was
Name?
his first movie with Tilda Swinton? It was so good. I
Oh,
Am Love. Then
yeah.
from I Am Love to Call Me by Your Name to Suspiria, and he clearly must have been very influenced by that film. And so I was like, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the influential is that there are like two parts. Is the one that is like he's Italian, and the second part, is Dario Argento, and the second part is that he's almost as ugly as Dario Argento.
Say that again.
The first part is that he's Italian as Dario Argento, and the second part is that he's almost as ugly as Dario Argento, that he's part of the movie in Suspiria, the original one.
That's him,
Yeah,
the
Pablo.
the Romanian guy.
Yep, I think that is
Wow,
cool. Yeah,
that guy's got issues. Isn't he
yeah,
ugly? You can
yeah,
say it.
yeah. Uh, yeah, but so I think that is my turn to actually describe the movie.
What did we talk about last? Sunshine? Yep, sure.
Yeah, Sunshine or Two Places of January, I don't remember. But so basically, the movie is the same story as the new version. So it's an American girl going to Germany for this dance academy that is extremely prestigious, uh, and she gets accepted into it. but in that academy, some weird stuff is happening, and some of the students are dying. So along the movie, the audience discover that the teachers and everyone that is running the school are witches, and that's it. That's basically it. Now when we actually get into the spoiler, that is only the last 20 minutes of the movie. She kills the original founder of the school.
That's about it.
Yeah, the funny thing is like when we watch, I watched the Luca Guadagnino version like 2 months ago, and we're discussing that this is bold cinema. How it was shot, like the kind of effort that it was put into it is pretty clear that I think that is Amazon and Amazon Studios kind of movie. So pretty clear that Amazon gave them like a blank check. It's like just do whatever you want, and he went completely crazy. So it's pretty clear that there is a lot of effort into that movie. I don't see that here, but I don't see that here just from the perspective of they didn't have the money. It's more like there is a mythos behind this, and in the new version, the mythos is explained to you. Is
Yeah.
actually talked about in this movie as is part of a trilogy. Is that the mythos was built afterwards? It's like Suspiria per se is not mentioned here.
Yeah, that's true. And you get an introduction into all three mothers in the modern one, the recent one.
Yeah, so I found like that's pretty cool. The idea of okay, I have watched this movie that is like visually appealing, but there is more to it behind it. But on this one, it's the other way around. Is that there is nothing. It almost feels like Dario Argento saw that, oh yeah, that was pretty popular. I'm going to be like continuing this using more witches, and I'm going to be like saying that every single movie is about like a different witches that they were like sisters.
Do you know if he directed the last two in the trilogy? Because I know the third one wasn't done until 2010.
Yeah, well, Inferno is his favorite movie
That
from
he
Dario
did.
Argento. Yeah, is his personal favorite.
Are you going to watch the next two?
So I watched this on a sponsor, kind of thing, it's for infomercial coming now. I watch it on filming, and they actually have Inferno in
Jesus
there.
Christ. If you
And
mention filming one more time.
If I mention it one more time, probably will be like just a bit closer to This American Life. But I have to say that I don't have any kind of interest in watching the other two. I don't. Because maybe, they actually build up on the mythos, and they actually give a bit more of meat to the first one. But the thing is that just giving meat at a posteriori kind of model is not really good filmmaking. I just had the feeling that look, your screenplay on this movie is weak. That's it.
So I really wanted to like this movie, and I did at the end. I think that it was trying to achieve something that's greater than most movies. But yeah, it was just, I wanted so much more, and he just never gave it to me. And
I feel like actually, and it's true that if I look with the new version, they actually had an advantage is that they already knew everything that was produced afterwards. So they could create a bit more of a compelling standalone piece. But I think that the value of Suspiria may be a bit more about like just being part of a trilogy instead of being a standalone piece. And it's like
yeah,
pretty hard. It's pretty hard to evaluate. Sorry, it's pretty hard to evaluate this piece isolated because you and me we discussed about this and we both really like the new version.
mhm.
So it's pretty hard to isolate that from it. But when I think about like the dance scenes, there is not any kind of aesthetic value to it.
No, they're like some of the ugliest scenes, and they always get stopped. It's like they walk into a scene, people are dancing, and they end it.
Yep, yep. When actually there is some kind of tribal, like visceral value to the new version. It's like I love it when that girl goes dancing, by herself and all her joints start breaking. Is that's pretty crazy, but at the same time, it's like it's visually appealing. On this, there is nothing like that.
But also, what frustrated the hell out of me was, so I understood in the new one, they need those girls to dance to do their spells. Like, there's a purpose to having those women there
Yeah.
and making them happy enough to stay. In the original, they just seemed pissed off that they were dance teachers and they just wanted to murder all the girls. Like there was no reason for anybody.
Yeah, to be there. Yeah. No,
And
no.
Susie wasn't causing any problems. So when she like stumbles onto the coven plotting her death, I was like, but why? She didn't do anything. She just showed
Yeah.
up for school. That's literally all she did.
Look, that's the reason why we're checking the Rotten Tomatoes score is that I cannot believe that serious critics, they gave a better score to the original version than the new one. I can't. I mean, it's true that probably, the original score was given on the 70s and it was aggregated many years later, but I don't see this as a cult classic. And I still don't understand why Luca Guadagnino actually just decided to remake this. That's the
So
reason why we wanted to watch this.
yes, and I think I've answered that question. I suspect that Lucas saw this when he was obviously much, much younger. And if you think about it from a just like a tour de force, that movie is fucking brutal. And I'm sure if he was like a teenager or somebody who's in early 20s and saw that in a theater in the 70s, that had to make quite an impact. The colors, the brutal, brutal violence. It was so graphic. It was so graphic, but not
Yeah,
like
but it's
realistic
a,
graphic.
but that's the thing, with that style of cinema, the Galio cinema
Yeah,
is it's about being graphic, it's about being violent, it's about being a bit pulp at the same time. But
exactly. Like Grindhouse. This is elevated Grindhouse.
but the thing that I found like mind blowing is that probably this movie has the most drug murder scene ever when the friend, not Susie, Sarah,
When she
or
falls into the barbed wire.
yeah, but there's like this very long scene where she goes to the attic, she actually just lock herself into the room and it's like, holy shit, this is like just lasting forever. It's like just acted this poorly. And like she dies. And what I was expecting to actually see is a teeth because it's the 70s. I was expecting to see a teeth. And the only thing that I could think about, like, this was a really when the guy actually just bring up the razor and just cut her neck.
Oh,
I was
bro.
thinking, is like, wow, this was a very tasteful killing scene for being the 70s.
Do you know why that is, though? Because Dario wrote the script with his. She wasn't his wife then. They ended up marrying. This is based on her grandmother's story about how she, as a child, attended a dance school in Germany and she had to escape it because they were practicing witchcraft. And so when they wrote it, all of the girls were supposed to be 12 and under. And then when he was getting funded, they said, absolutely not. A movie that violent with children will get banned. So they increased the age of the women to about 20, but he didn't change the script at all. So when the dialogue sounds really stupid, it's because like 10-year-olds were supposed to be speaking it.
I
That's why you didn't see any tits.
Wait a second. No, no, that makes no sense because actually one of the girls lives completely by herself in the city. Olga, the other girl.
This is what I read on the internet, and the internet is true.
Sure, but it makes no sense. The internet may be true, but it makes no sense. So part of it, I buy into it, but another part is like it doesn't make any kind of sense.
So if you pay attention to all the doorknobs are at face level because he still wanted the actresses to be looked as children, so they have to lift their arms way up like children do and open the
So
doors.
are you telling me that when Susie get asked, it's like, oh, do you drink wine? And she's like, sure. And she gets actually just a prescription for just drinking wine on every single meal. Is like that's what a 12-year-old would actually reply because that's on the script.
It's fucking Italy. Of course they drink at 12.
Susie is American.
It's an Italian film.
Italian film set in Germany with Americans. I'm sorry, man. This script makes no sense.
Um, yeah, but
And
if you think about it from that perspective, it's like, oh, this makes a little bit more sense.
I'm
It
European.
doesn't
No,
change.
it doesn't. It doesn't. European, it doesn't
No,
at
no, no.
all.
I'm not talking about Europe. I'm talking about like, oh, these girls were supposed to be much younger. Like the idea behind them was for them to be helpless children.
Partially, yes, partially. But at the same time, it's like some of the stuff that happens there is something that is not applicable to a 12-year-old.
Like,
Like living on the city. Or,
yeah, no,
the
that's an
part,
interesting point.
the part that you're telling me about, like, just the script was not modified, is like, there is a key aspect, about this girl, Susie, living with Olga for 1 or 2 days and wanted to stay with her. But then the witches actually want her to stay in the academy, but there is no real reason for her to stay
Yeah,
there.
why did they want her to stay? I don't get it. They just wanted to kill her.
Look, is that this movie actually made me appreciate the remake significantly more.
Because it was able to tell an actual plot.
Yeah, because it actually just gives some of the ideas of the original one, like most of the ideas, but it actually just turned into a coherent story.
I was super frustrated that when she discovers the secret passageway and she walks down it and there's genuine tension, and then she looks through the doorway and they're plotting her murder. Like whatever was in that room was super interesting and we didn't get to see any of it, even just a peek. Like she just overheard a conversation and then the
Yep.
building blew up and I was like, what?
I think that my favorite part of the movie is when the movie ends and it tells you have been watching Suspiria. Is that I'm going to confirm is that you are really been watching this movie. You haven't been watching, I don't know, Citizen Kane, just to confirm this.
Yeah, I was underwhelmed by the film. There were a lot of like the way that it played with color was pretty fucking cool. The music by the band Goblin,
Confidence.
that's genuinely creepy, and I'm sure not much had been done like that up until that point. And if you think that music in Funny Games, the original, the Austrian one,
Yeah.
and they have that horrific rock music, it reminded me of that. And then, did you know that the director played that music on set at full volume
For making it
to,
more disturbing.
yeah, to fuck up the actors?
I mean, that part is good, but don't compare this with Funny Games in any kind of way. Don't relate it because in Funny Games it works pretty well. That horrendous rock music at the beginning, like the metal music, because it's this kind of contrast between like everything being completely normal, the happy family going for vacation, and just this music that is like just throwing them off, and it
I'm
prepares
not
the
talking about the
audience.
very beginning. I'm talking about when the kid runs to the neighbor's house and they're hunting for the neighbor. Sorry, they're hunting for the little kid while he's hiding in the neighbor's house trying to escape.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But in any case, it's like I think that Haneke is significantly smarter as a director as
Oh,
Dario Argento.
100%. But
And
I do think the music is a positive aspect of this film. It's creepy, it's dated, but it's creepy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that is an okay aspect. I think that the visuals are okay. Like how he uses the color. But I think everything else is the definition of dumb. And I used to look when I was in college, we used to just meet up some of my friends. I had like another group of friends that we used to love
You
like
son
this
of a bitch.
series. I know, man. I had a life before meeting you. We used to just meet up for just watching B series film, like gore films, B series. And this film, we talk about it about Dario Argento and his movies plenty of times about like a cool director. I don't know why this is
Why you
considered
guys yeah.
this is considered like a cult movie. I can understand just listen to this. I can consider Fassbinder and Querelle more of a cult piece more than this.
Uh so yes, I see what you're saying, but I think people actually watched this movie when it was in theaters and nobody saw Carell. So I think it did make an impact in the 70s and it like connected with a specific group and that's why it's a cult classic. Nobody ever saw Carell.
Sure, but it's like why did they connect? It's like I don't look if I even like go back to the 70s, if I actually think about it, it's like why did this connect? It's a witchcraft movie, and it's not that good at that. Is that there is no like good character definition or progression.
Yeah. Yeah, nope. I I don't have a defense for it. I don't want to defend it. It's just not that good. And I'm looking right now at his IMDb page to see what I've seen of his, and I don't think I've seen anything. And now I
So
don't want to.
when you were asking me about if I would watch the other two, it's like Inferno is on filming. And when the movie was starting, and I was like, oh, it's part of a trilogy. I felt like, well, maybe I should watch Inferno just after this one. And when this one ended, it's like, no, I'm sorry, no. I have like better stuff to do with my life.
Yeah, so I would probably give Inferno a chance. What I find interesting is that he always saw this as a trilogy, and he didn't make the third film until 2010. He waited 25 years to finish the trilogy, and I hope that his director skills improved between 1977 and 2010.
But
Um,
look, one of the things that we actually discussed about the remake of Suspiria by Luca Guadagnino is that the feeling that you have of that movie is a movie from the 70s. We mentioned that, but it's a movie from the 70s with the resources for now and unlimited money, unlimited budget.
but I think that they had an enormous budget. All of those European landmarks that they like when the guy his dog ate him, they rebuilt that on a set in Rome.
Oh, that was
That's
not
not
there?
real. It's not real. Everything's a set. Everything is built on a set. I think they had tons of money for this movie.
So if they had unlimited money or an immense amount of money, it's like why the dog looks like crap.
Oh my god, that was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Like you can see the guy's hand move the puppet on his.
Yep. Like, "Woo." It's like, okay, when you don't see the guy is when he's actually just tearing something up. But when you see the guy, it's like it's a puppet. He's like, no.
Also, did you
No.
know that they didn't record anything live? So everything is a voiceover, and you can see it matches so poorly with their lips. The guy who wrote the book about witches, he doesn't even speak English. There was some guy behind him telling him his lines, and he was just repeating them in English. And she had to like stop herself from laughing because she was trying to act in English. And I don't
So
understand why they made that choice.
the dancer, I think that is the dancer, or maybe it's not. But one of the dancers is a Spanish singer, like pretty famous, that is called Miguel Bosé. So I didn't realize about it. And when I was checking the cast, it's like, why is Miguel Bosé highlighted here? I didn't see him. Is like, is this kind of very gay singer? Is like one of the main gay icons in Spain, and he was here as well, dancers.
Wow.
But yeah, man, I was not a fan. Let's just leave it at that. It made me appreciate the remake even more.
Yeah, and I just there was so much of what I enjoyed about the recent one that I hoped had inspiration in the original, like the whole female empowerment, men are useless to, like. But there was nothing. There was no perspective. He had nothing to say. Nothing to say. Um,
No, I mean, I just felt like it was a bit more of a entertainment movie for a subpar director.
and it was incendiary at the time, but now we've seen all of that.
Do you think that is incendiary? How?
I mean, the violence was pretty insane. It's pretty much what the worst of the Grindhouse showed at the time, which is incendiary.
Okay, okay, you're talking about from that perspective. Yeah, no, that may be it. I mean, it's true that some of the violence that they display is surprisingly explicit.
I actually had great hopes for the film after that first scene where the two girls are murdered. I was like, wow, that was a pretty good opening scene. Where do we go from here? Oh, it went to shit.
I'm sorry, but after the scene with Susie's on the taxi, and the funny thing is, like, sorry, I almost forgot to mention this, is that this may be one of the few movies that I watch of teenagers getting murdered or, like young people getting murdered that I don't root for anyone. It's like, I don't care if they die. It's like, I'm almost happy if they die because the Susie girl, when she arrives, she sounds like a bitch when she's like
She
just
does kind of come across as
jumping
a
into the
bitch.
rad, into the road, like for just getting a taxi. It's like, look, taxis work the same way everywhere in the world. If they don't have the light on, is that they're not available. Why are you like just getting pissed, jumping into the road for getting one? And I love the point that she repeats 3 times the address, and
She can't understand.
that's my life every single day in this country. So, but the thing is that when she arrives to the house and she sees the other girl running away, and then there is this scene with the taxi driving away, and she looking through the window and seeing the other girl like running through the forest. I found it like visually is okay, but from a narrative perspective, this is not good.
I'd like to hear like a critic that I respect just break down this movie and explain it. Is there like postmodern subtext that I'm missing?
Look, just remember the scene with the girl falling into the barbed wires, or remember the scene when she actually gets reanimated as a zombie and she disappears afterwards. Either just think about those two scenes and just tell me if that's postmodernist or it's just about like just being the result of the time.
Also, wasn't it weird that that wire was clearly not barbed wire? I was like, are these electrocuted? Oh no, they're pretending this is barbed wire.
I think they were
Okay,
pretending because they
we're
don't
just
have
gonna
more
go with this.
resources. Yeah.
Um,
But I'm surprised when you're telling me about like the amount of money they have for this, the budget that they
no,
have
no,
for this
I
movie.
don't know any budgets. I just assume
Oh,
when you choose to build a set for absolutely everything, that costs money, right? I don't know. Maybe
yeah.
labor was super cheap in Italy in the 70s.
But
Um,
they shot in Germany.
they said they did a few shots, but most of it was done on a set that was built in Rome.
Ah, okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Um, and then, so his partner, his wife, now wife, she wrote the script with him, and they had always written it with her in mind to star. But the studio was like, "We'll fund this, but you've got to have an American actress so the movie will sell." Can you imagine not being able to star in the script you wrote for yourself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, probably also she was a bit older at that point.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I hope. Um,
I mean, I hope because we also know how old Dario Argento was or how ugly he looked.
how old was he?
I don't know, but we know how ugly he looked.
No, very ugly. So then, in the final scene, when she murders uh, Mother Suspiria, and you
That
see
is,
there's this
yeah.
that came from a dream of Dario's wife that she had randomly, where she was in a room with a witch and a jaguar or a panther, an invisible witch and a panther, and for some reason the panther exploded. So they wanted to put that in the film, except it wasn't a real panther. Obviously, it was just that like ceramic sculpture. But that came from her dream, and I was like, just because it's in a dream does not mean it's a good idea.
Yeah, when they exploded the Jaguar, like, I started just laughing. He said, "Yeah, we are there. We are at the point of everything goes to shit."
What did you think though of the closing credits?
I love the part about like you have been watching Suspiria. It's like this is not a dream. You cannot use this in another movie just by
I thought the
mistake.
closing credits were fucking incredible. I was like, oh, finally something interesting.
When they actually say like you have been watching this,
No, it's just the building on fire
oh,
with the screams, and it never gets any quieter. It's just like people screaming in pain at full volume while you watch the credits.
so I like it when the screens started, but then when they kept going and going, I was having the feeling that there were not so many people in there. You actually
What
just
about
have the screen.
those Russian cooks would be dying? the
I honestly know there is like many points on this movie that I felt like look, please just stop. Like for example, when the other lady and the nephew, sorry, the old lady and the nephew are like just in the aisle, well, in the corridor, and they just reflect the glass at her, and she start like just going crazy. And that scene lasts like 3 minutes, like, oh, I'm
and then she
fainting, I'm
walks
going
down the hall
crazy.
dizzy for like 30 seconds. What the
Yeah,
hell?
yeah. It's like, look, you made the point. They affected her in some kind of way. Let's just move on.
At that point, I had still given them the movie the benefit of the doubt. I was like, oh, the first creepy thing happened, and then like nothing.
God, I mean, the thing is, look, I mean, I'm honestly surprised. I told you before we started recording. It's like I, I cannot understand a world that it would be like a lower score. It would be giving a lower score to the remake than the original one because the original one is not good, and
Luca
the
has
new
been
one is
very
bad.
clear that this is not a remake. It's his interpretation of Dario's film.
whatever we want to call it. Is there the name, and is there like the main story? So whatever you want to call it, this is better than the original one.
Oh yeah. No, no, no. Oh yes, it is better. The new one. Yeah, what a pity. I mean, it was interesting. I don't regret watching it, but I don't think it was a good movie.
Oh yeah. I don't regret watching it, but as I told you, it's like it doesn't just trigger my interest for watching more Dario Argento movies, from this trilogy or anything else from the Galio genre.
I'll probably watch the second one. I'll let you know
Yeah, yeah.
what I feel. I don't
So
regret watching this. I do regret watching Celine Dion ghost boating. I would just like to call that out.
look, I'm not hating you or just trying to throw it on your face. It was an interesting experience. It actually
Oh
made
no, no,
me.
no! I don't take it personally. I'm like clueless.
I don't like it is, but it's not that much better than this. So we scored this.
Yep.
So for me, I think that is my turn because this was
Yeah, I definitely
your
went first last time.
pick. I'm going to go with 4.5.
Really?
Yeah, I was debating between 4 and 4.5, but the reason why I give it a 4.5 is that like how sometimes a sequel can bring down the value of the original piece. I had a feeling that in this case, the remake actually brings up the value of this. It's like, I like
Uh,
this much. I like the remake so much. Even actually just made me like the remake even more. Well, the remake, whatever, the reimagining even more. That is like, without this piece of shit, we wouldn't have gotten the other one.
wow, you are far more generous. I get your explanation, but I thought you were going to give it a 2.
Look, it was gory. I appreciate gory films. I like them. So that's okay. And it was a tasteful gory. There were no tits or nudity.
You never recommend gory films for us.
Because I always think that you are very pretentious and you wouldn't appreciate it.
I mean, if there's a reason for the gore, not like a Dario Argento film where it's just like, let's throw the girl into the barbed wire and watch her writhe around.
But she will not get naked. That's the good part.
Nope. So my score is a 3.5. I mean, there was nothing I had good to say about it except the closing credits. The color was sometimes cool, and I liked the music. It was creepy to me.
So the music, as I was watching it like fairly late, when the music was like ramping up, because besides that the music is really loud, as you mentioned earlier, it's like I would have to just turn the volume down completely. Like, nope.
At some point, I switched to earphones. I was like, this is driving me insane, and my neighbor is going to think that I'm a psychopath.
Hmm. Well, to be fair, you're watching the Argento Suspiria, so
Yeah.
you're partially.
They'd be more creeped out if they just knew that fact about me. So do you know what we're going to watch next if it's not the next in the trilogy of
Oh,
Suspiria?
it's not going to be the Resident Evil trilogy, believe me. I mean, if you want to pick that one afterwards, sure.
No, no, no.
Uh, what score, out of curiosity, I'm not going to be registering it, like, but what score would you give to the Luca Guadagnino version of this?
It's been a while since I've watched it, and I only watched it about 4 times.
Only.
That's a real number, by the way. I saw that movie a lot when it was free on Amazon Prime. I would say like an 8, maybe a 7.58. I would really need to rewatch it again because the farther away I get from movies, the more I
Yeah.
glorify them in my head. But I think it's a killer movie, killer acting. I like the story. I'm thinking of certain scenes right now and getting creeped out, like when she finds the limbless people in the basement.
Yeah. So for me, sorry, for me, it will also be like a 7.5 or 8.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
that's a
that
great movie.
aesthetically it's impressive. All the dance scenes are visually pleasing. And there is some kind of reason. It's like, it's a solid script. It's a solid. I mean, for what it is, it's a solid script. And it actually sticks with you.
And that final scene, which is an homage to 70s special effects, that's a fucking good scene when Dakota Johnson's just like walking around people dying all calm.
You're
That is
dead.
awesome.
You're dead.
Yep.
You're dead.
Instead of Susie just ran out of the building and then laughed a little bit and the movie was over. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
So most of the movie I was actually expecting to see how they're going to be recreating, sorry, how was this originally portrayed
Yep.
in
Same.
Suspiria? And it's like that's the reason what I think is that this is a movie that evolved into something more. As you were saying, it's like the script was suggested by his soon-to-be wife. I had a feeling that he didn't actually think about a trilogy at the beginning, that he actually came up with that afterwards. Like maybe when marketing was talking with them, like, how are you going to be calling it? He's like, well, I was thinking about calling it The Ballet Killer, but I'm going to go with Suspiria because I thought that I could do 2 more movies about that.
I know what you did last spring.
Exactly. So even like just talking a bit more about it is like I just tend to just bunch it down, like just back it down.
It's too late. You can't touch
No,
it.
no,
It's entered
it's
into
fine.
the spreadsheet.
It's fine. It's fine. I think that this is slightly better than Sunshine.
What? Sunshine is a good movie.
No, you keep pretending that the last tier doesn't exist.
Oh god. Well, what
This
are we
movie.
gonna watch now?
So I'm thinking to just keep the bad stuff coming, and maybe we should watch The Room.
All right.
I mean, I haven't watched it yet, so I
Ever?
think that ever. I mean,
What
the
a pity we
closest
can't go watch it at what's the theater that shows it every month?
Clay Theater that they
Yeah, the
closed 2
Clay.
months ago. Sorry, like 4 months ago.
Permanently?
Permanently.
Oh yeah, I think you shared that with me. It's
Yeah,
all right.
and
It was a
yeah,
shitty theater.
and the opera. Yeah, it was not good. But the Opera Plaza was supposed to close too because these two
Permanently?
were, yeah, they were landmark theaters, and there was a non-profit founded by some of the people from the Giants or something like that, and they took over the cinema. So they're going to be investing like $1 million or $2 million for just renewing it completely.
I'm sorry, but the opera should go out of business. They have the best taste in cinema in the city, but I can't stand those chairs, the sound, the
Okay, okay,
projectors.
okay. Let me just step back. I agree with you that the quality of the cinema is not good, but the quality of the cinema that they actually saw there is unparalleled with anything else that they saw in the city.
Absolutely
And
agree. I
losing
mean,
and losing it,
even
it will be like
Embarcadero can't
extremely big
compare.
loss. Yeah, because actually Embarcadero, as they invested so much money, they need to make that money back. So they actually saw like plenty of movies that you're going to be like seeing at ANC.
Yeah. I just wish since like between the Westfield and the Metreon, there's like 27 screens in a 2-city block. Why don't they just like take 4 of those screens and play decent films? Nobody goes to the movies anyway.
No, that's true. I mean, right now right now no one goes, but right now with ANCA list and what's
AMC
the other
A-List and
A list? Yeah, what's the other one?
Cinemark's. I can't remember what Cinemark's program is. I'm
Yeah.
still paying for those. That's a good point. They froze AMC, but they did not freeze Cinemark. But
Wow.
there's rollover, so I'll have everything to use.
Yeah, so it's not that bad from that
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah. So it's true that right now, when the cinemas open again, it's like people really want to go to the cinema, so they will watch anything. They could be actually just be playing Celine Dion, Gone Boring, and Suspiria, and the rooms would be full. They could be full.
I wonder how they'll open. Like every 3 seats is open.
Probably, yeah. But probably they leave like two, like blocks of two, so you can just go with your partner or whatever.
I
Or
would
it was
like some films to add to the list, but we can do that later.
okay. Okay, man. This was fun. We removed one of them.
Good chat.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, folks, for listening. Take care.
Wash your hands for 2 more weeks.
Bye.